let's get into that England squad. There's some strange picks, but I actually understand why. Look, he's got 18 months pretty much to get this side ready to win a World Cup. Whereas I might not agree with a German manager being the appointment for England, I like a lot of what I'm seeing. Let's start off with the goalkeepers. Dean Henderson, who's having a decent season at Palace. Let's be honest, he's a good goalkeeper. He's a solid goalkeeper. Is he England's number one? No. Jordan Pickford, however, is. Pickford has been probably England's unsung hero for the entirety of his England career. He has been fantastic. He's never let England down. And more than that, he's been a phenomenal goalkeeper in tournaments. He's been brilliant. He's been a match winner. He's made crucial saves. Every nation that is serious about winning a World Cup or an international tournament has now got a goalkeeper who can play, who's comfortable from the back. That is probably the biggest reason why Nick Pope does not get a look in these England sides. Aaron Ramsdale, on the other hand, is in, despite being probably a worse goalkeeper than Nick Pope, but his ability with the ball at his feet is a lot better. And the last one is James Trafford, who's having a fantastic season, let's be honest. He's been brilliant all season, he's made some crucial saves, and above all, that Burnley defensive record this season is absolutely outrageous. You've got to admit, I know it's in the Championship, but he's a young goalkeeper. He's done phenomenal for Burnley. He's done brilliant for the under-21s in the past and probably deserves a place in this side. Defenders, Dan Burn. Dan Burn has got his call up at the age of 32, finally, and I love it. It was one of those, I'll be honest with you, before the final the other week where he scored and was a crucial part in Newcastle winning their first trophy in 70 years, I did think, is Dan Burn an international footballer? I still have my doubts, but at the biggest moment he turned up for his side, and I think there's probably no other player in this side that is more buzzing to be in this England squad. Levi Colwill I think has been really good for Chelsea, well deserved. Mark Guehi's probably England's best centre-back at this point, very well deserved. Reece James is in there after a while out, and I do think if Reece James is fit, Reece James is England's best right-back. He's really good going forward, he's got great delivery, always makes the right pass, he's got a great mentality. If you can steer clear of those injuries, I think he's absolutely fine and nailed on to be in this England side. We've got a first call-up for Miles Lewis-Skelly. A lot of heat on Miles Lewis-Skelly this season. He's been at kind of the forefront of the Arsenal criticism. Well deserved as well, because he has been putting himself out there, you know, with his celebrations, his red cards and stuff like that. But I actually really like Miles Lewis-Skelly. I think he's got a massive future ahead. His England's call-up, I think, has been probably one of the most scrutinised call-ups in a long time. There is something about that it stinks. There's something horrible about it. I can't stand it. Same happens with Jude Bellingham as well. Miles Lewis-Skelly, well deserved to call up, and I think he's probably going to be England's first choice left back. Livramento got a call up, I think well deserved as well. Guy's playing left back and right back, shows his versatility, very good player. Ezri Konsa obviously called up from Aston Villa. We've got Jarell Quansah called up. This is one that I disagree with. I like Jarell Quansah, and I've watched him for the 21s. I went to the under-21s last international break and was really impressed with him. I think he's a really good player. I think he is a good ball carrier for a centre-half. I do really like that about him. I think he's all-round a very good player, but I don't know if he's ready to be called up. I'd have got no problem, to be honest, with him being called up. I just think there were a couple of players that I would have put ahead of him. We've also got Kyle Walker still in the squad. He's gone to AC Milan and he's doing okay. Milan, on the other hand, aren't, but I think Kyle Walker deserves a call-up personally. The players that I think missed out there, Branthwaite. I'd have put Jarrad Branthwaite in there 100% of the time over Jarell Quansah. Another one who I think has definitely deserved a call-up is Jed Spence. Jed Spence has been playing left back, he's been playing right back, part of a back three for Tottenham, and I think he's been one of the standout players for Tottenham, considering everything that's going on under Ange at Tottenham. And the other one who never gets a call-up, which has always puzzled me, is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Midfielders, Jude Bellingham, second best player in the world. Honestly, I think Jude Bellingham is that good. He's had loads of criticism for not turning up or having a stinker and then scoring a late goal. I'm sorry, you turn up, you score a goal for England, it wins you a game. I don't care how well you played. You deserve your plaudits. We've also got Eze. Ebere Eze, I think, is probably very lucky to be in this side. Eze, for me, deserved to be in England squads going back, but I think he's very lucky to be in there, I'll be honest. Jordan Henderson is back in the England squad, and that has puzzled a lot of people. I understand it. I get it. Thomas Tuchel wants experience. He wants what he has quoted as a serial winner in that side. You cannot argue that Jordan Henderson provides experience, but he's obviously great to have in the dressing room. In terms of footballing ability, I think he's very good, but there's always been better players, but he's always played. He is a captain. You feel like he's a leader, and I think England need that. Thomas Tuchel has talked about creating a side that has a different mentality, a mentality to go on and win a trophy. Henderson's won trophies. He's won Premier League, he's won the Champions League, captain Liverpool to a Champions League. He's a player that I think England need in that side, so I don't mind that at all. We've got Curtis Jones. I think Curtis Jones is really good, and I think he's had a lot of criticism actually from his own fans, but I don't know if I'd have put him in. I really don't know. I'll lean towards I would, because Liverpool are going really well, and I think he's had some really good games. I've watched him quite a few times this season. I think he's been really good. I just feel like there's always something with Curtis Jones that I'm not completely sold on him yet, but I think he's really good. Cole Palmer obviously has now dropped out, been replaced by Morgan Gibbs-White. He's one of those players that I would have said deserved to get into that side. With Cole Palmer dropping out, he's come in, and I think well deserved. There was a lot of criticism for Thomas Tuchel for not including Gibbs-White. He's had a really good season. He had a great season last season as well. Declan Rice, a staple of this England side. He is Mr. Consistent. Declan Rice is one of the best midfielders in the world, and if you think otherwise, then you are biased and you hate Arsenal, and that is all. The only reason you would not rate Declan Rice as one of the best midfielders in the world is because you hate Arsenal. That's genuine. He's a brilliant footballer, technically a fantastic footballer, and he is positionally great, physical, an athlete, gets back, can tackle, can put in last-ditch tackles, can get on the end of things in the box on the other end, and he can shoot. He's a player that turns up for big games. He doesn't mind sitting back, sitting deep and controlling the play, but he can also go and win you a match as well, and I love that. Morgan Rogers, well deserved as well, been one of I think the best players in the Premier League this season. He is probably England's best ball carrier, him and Jude Bellingham, but Morgan Rogers with the ball at his feet, just give him the ball and watch him run. Players that miss out in midfield, Adam Wharton. Now I have seen, obviously Adam Wharton got called up to the under-21 squad. He's now in and training with the first team, and I don't know what that means. I don't know whether Thomas Tuchel's going to bring him in. I don't know. And Angel Gomez, I thought did really well for England when he's been brought in. He's a different player. He's that kind of six that sits, takes the ball on the half turn and progresses play, builds up play for England, and I think we do lack that sometimes. Angel Gomez is very capable of doing that, and I think he's a different player. He's not playing for Lille. This is the problem. At Lille, they're not really utilising him, and he's not getting the game time that I think he deserves. I think he's out of contract at the end of the season. Forwards, Jared Bowen's in, and Jared Bowen is probably the most underrated player in this England side. Phil Foden. I think Phil Foden's lucky to get in this side. I really do. I love Phil Foden. I love the player he is. I think there's few players as good technically as Phil Foden, but he's ghosted this season. He's fallen off, and it was a tough summer for him, and I think there was a lot of criticism over Phil Foden in being in that England side and, quote unquote, never turning up for England. I think there were some good games he had, but majority of the time he has been missing for England in the big moments. Anthony Gordon's in there. I like him. I like his mentality. I like his personality. It's just that I feel like he'd be the one player out of those forward players, those forward-thinking players, so I'd be like, he's not on the level that the others are. Harry Kane, England's captain, England's best player by a mile. I think England are so lucky to have Harry Kane. Harry Kane is the best striker in the world, probably for the last 5-10 years. There's no player who's done it as consistently as him in both club and country. People who say that he doesn't turn up when he comes in and scores goals, it's what his job is. His job is to go and score goals. He's like England's top goal scorer in every tournament. He always turns up, always gets England goals. We have got Marcus Rashford back in the England side, and that has caused a bit of a stir. This is a myth that's currently going on with Marcus Rashford, that he's turned his form around at Aston Villa. He's not scored. He's got a few assists. He has looked dangerous at times, but there's still something hanging over Rashford that isn't quite right, that's not got him in this form that we saw probably 2-3 years ago. We need a player that can run in behind, and with Man United he wasn't doing that. With England he has the possibility to do that, so yeah, don't mind him in there at all. But I think it's a bit of a myth that he's turned his form around. I'm not seeing it personally. Finally, Dominic Solanke's in there for Tottenham. Players that have missed out, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and finally, Ethan Nwaneri. Ethan Nwaneri will be in England's sides going forward. This is probably the last time Ethan Nwaneri will be left out of an England side going forward for his whole career, because I think he is potentially generational. I cannot believe how good this guy is at such a young age. He's 17 years old. He made his debut at 15 and he's scoring goals in the Champions League for Arsenal.